Hello. So, our topic tonight was codependency, and I promised you guys that I would offer two different tools, one for earlier stage recovery and then one for later stage recovery if you've been doing this for a little while. So, the first thing I want to mention is I want to offer a reframe for codependency because it really has a bad rap and its intention is not so. So when you think about codependency, its purpose, its intention is to recreate homeostasis. So when there's a family system and something happens to that family system that causes it to become out of alignment, codependency's purpose is to recreate some type of homeostasis. And that's not bad or wrong, that just is. However, what makes it toxic is when it's not repaired. So if you have two parents, something happens to one of them, and now there's one parent taking care of children, oftentimes the oldest child will step up into a parentified role, just as one example. That's not bad or wrong. What makes it dysfunctional is when it's not repaired. So I just wanted to offer that reframe around codependency, and that the intention is that it supports a system in surviving. It supports a system in recreating homeostasis. And when we don't repair or heal that system, that's what creates the toxicity. So if you're new to recovery and you're looking at what do I do with all this? What is my tool for coping with codependency? Well, what I notice is the first thing I share is when I started recovery, I felt like I was doing everything backwards because basically recovery is teaching me to do the opposite of everything I was trained to do. I was trained with an external locus of control. I was trained to focus out here, and recovery supports an internal locus of control. So recovery was really hard for me, and I kept bumping my head because I couldn't do things the way that I always did them. So my tool for early recovery is it's going to be really hard to make yourself the priority when everyone else has been most of your life. The tool is, rather than making yourself more important than everyone else or the priority, what if you made yourself just as important as everyone else? Does that give a frame of reference? And then for later stage recovery, when the term reparenting is a part of your relationship with codependency, is recognizing just because in my childhood, my parents didn't have to give to me all my needs and all my emotional needs, doesn't mean that I live the rest of my life in deficit. Recovery teaches me that I can reparent me. And an example of that is going to be what I do for my boys or what I do for my dogs, I do for me. It gives me a frame of reference. It gives me a knowing of what loving me looks like. And that's not how I was taught. I was taught to love everyone else. I was never taught to love me. So when you look at that tool or when you think about that tool, it feels a little uncomfortable, and I'm making it sound way easier than it is. And if I use a frame of reference of those around me that sometimes love me more than I love me, it really helps me to understand what would it look like to take care of me. So